You're live on News at Prime. Thanks for staying with us tonight. We continue our conversation then exploring some of the tensions that we've seen play themselves out in the public, especially between informal traders in the Johannesburg city centre and, of course, the local authorities. Today, we had multiple structures from the SAPS right down to the Metro Police Service going back to that area, conducting surprise raids. As we've been told tonight, it's estimated over 1,000 people behind bars for not having the correct documentation. At least that's according to what officials are telling us. They also released a statement saying they'd managed to confiscate counterfeit goods and illegal weapons. Well, in studio with me tonight, Dr. Tanya Zack. She's an urban planner and a senior visiting researcher at the School of Architecture and Planning at Wits University, Dr. Vusi Sibanda from the Africa Diaspora Forum, and Tadesse Yemane from the Ethiopian Community Association of South Africa. So we're exploring then what exactly the hub means, especially for the economy of South Africa. Some interesting points being raised already. And I think I want to pick it up first with you, Dr. Tanya. Of course, you're talking about the importance of how then the approach to the issues around trading in the city centre needs to change. From a solutions perspective, take into account the current situation, where would the difference need to come in?
I think that, Cathy, one of the criticisms that is levelled at this area is around people, it's a cash economy and people aren't paying tax in the economy. You know, these are buildings that were very run down and many of them empty in the early 90s when traders rented out space and over time have even bought whole buildings in the space. They have in that time increased the property value enormously. There is an enormous amount of investment. There are shopping centres in that area that mimic what migrant traders have done in that area with the arcades and the shopping centres that they've created. The property tax that is returning to the city because of that, the improvement in the city, the transformation in the city is enormous. It should not be thought of as an area of decline and decay. It simply is not that. One building in that area sold for 80 million rand. That is unheard of in the inner city of Johannesburg. So we're talking about a booming enterprise which is selling, you know, a vast amount of goods and bringing in an income in that way, and also a transformation of our inner city. We need regeneration of the inner city, and this is doing that. Our response, therefore, should be to recognize this as the sub-Saharan African shopping port that it is. Let us do the spatial interventions that is really the rolling out of the red carpet for our international shoppers. You know, whether it's fixing the paving or whether it's dealing with the economic issues, making it easier to clear customs, you know, dealing with the fact that there is a cash dependency. We can shift that in this economy, but we need to be recognizing this as a port, give it the economic support, and then bring the safety into that, so that the police services, their duty in that space, which is to protect people from crime, needs to be tackled. You know, 60% of shopkeepers and 30% of shoppers told us that they had been victims of violent crime in the inner city. This is the issue that we need our police to be dealing with.
All right, Vusi, of course, the property rates may be going high, but in the same breath, there are all these hijacked buildings that we're continuously told about, that again, the authorities will say, this is where the informal traders are making their money.
Look, I think one of the issues that we are hearing, like you are saying, the issue of hijacked buildings, I think that notion on its own needs to be carefully looked at to say, you know, which buildings in this particular area are really hijacked. Because, you know, if you look at the 3 buildings within that vicinity that I'm aware of, formerly the medical towers, the medical chambers, and the Madiba, those buildings, when the Ethiopian community started to come in and rent there, they had owners that were managing them. I mean, I know that the medical chambers, for example, medical center, it was run by a Chinese man called Mr. Wang, because we rented property there. They came in while he was there. So he was actually the one renting it out. The next one, it was Gatu Estate. The other one was Vic Properties. So these people got the buildings and they started renting in gradually from the ground floor going up. So this, you know, theory that says the buildings are hijacked, how far true it is. So we are seeing that, and all these people, I think, like what Dr. Tanya said, that they're all paying rates and taxes, and that's really adding into, you know, social, services, social fund in the city to ensure that, you know, streets are built, are maintained, and everything is getting fine.
So do you think then that an unfair narrative has been painted, Tadesse?
That's completely unacceptable. It's not only unfair, it's very dangerous, because when you see people successfully run business and you come and accuse them of hijacking the building, while the contrary is the truth. That's very dangerous thing.
All right.
There's dangerous statement. All the buildings that we are operating, especially as the Ethiopian community, have legitimate owners. They can go and verify that before they come to the media and then making baseless accusation, which would set a dangerous precedent.
All right.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time, so I'm going to have to leave it there for now with all of my guests. Thank you so much for all your insights that you've given for us tonight. Certainly different ways then of interpreting part of what we see play out in the Joburg City Centre. I tell you what, this story is going to continue for some months to come, so we'll keep a pulse, and of course I'll also keep in touch with our guests to keep updating it as it goes along.